Hello. Hey, what's up?
Kia Biag, where you at? Where you at? Kia Biag.
That's me.
Kia Biag.
That's me.
Kia Biag.
Yeah, that's me. What's up, Kia Biag Gang, and welcome to Zakia Chanel Podcast. This isn't just a regular podcast. It's a place where we can let down our guards and be our authentic selves. So let's talk about it. The real, the tough, and the funny conversations. At the end of each episode, I want you to walk away feeling better than you did at the start. All right, enough of me talking. Breathe in, breathe out. Now let's get into the episode. What's up, Kia Biag Gang? Welcome back to another episode of the Zakia Chanel Podcast. Yay! Welcome all of my new listeners, new watchers. Thank you all, Kia Biag Gang, for continuing to support me. And let's go ahead and get straight into this episode. So first, as always, let's start with our praise break. I will say my praise break for this episode will be, I would say celebrating my dad's birthday. So we recently this past weekend celebrated my dad's birthday, and I would say it's my praise break because not only am I thankful that God has blessed my dad with another year of life, for us to be able to continue to celebrate him, but also I thank God that like our family is able to be together, to come together for these big events or holidays or birthdays and everything. So I'm just grateful that I have a family where we can come together to celebrate for a birthday. So yes, we had a great time, fun time. My dad doesn't really need all of the shining stars and everything for his birthday. He loves like just us being thoughtful with certain things, and he just truly just loves like being around his family, his kids, his wife, and everything. So my mom. So yeah, so that's my praise break. And then our meme for the week. So I already have it pulled up. Look at me being prepared. So my meme for the week is, I am in a chapter of my life where I have to pray about every move I make. Let me say that again. I am in a chapter of my life where I have to pray about every move I make. That is a lot because there's so much to say about it, but I'm going to wait just because that meme actually ties into what I want to discuss for our podcast episode today. So I really just wanted to talk about, because I think that for me personally, that meme is so true. Like I really am in a chapter, I have been in this chapter where I have to pray about every move I make, every decision that I make before anything is decided. Like I truly have to pray and come to God. And so this segment is called Dear Kia segment. And you all are now going to be able to text me, message me. You don't have to just leave a comment or DM me or anything like that. You can literally text me. It will come directly to me. Now, the number that you will have is not my personal number, so you all can't track me or anything. But it is a Dear Kia segment. So you're going to be able to text me. Let me know what's going on. If you got something that you just need to let off, you want to pray about, you can text me. If you want to just blow some steam and just get something off your chest, you can text me. If you want to let me know something that's going good in your life and you want me to congratulate you or shout you out on the podcast, you can text me at Dear Kia segment, guys. What's up, Kia Biag Gang? I have a big announcement for you all. You said, what's that? Come closer. A little closer. A little closer. Okay. I'll stop. So I am officially an author. Yes, I am an author. I have my own journal. It is called Being in the Present. It is a self-help inspirational journal that is written by me. So in this self-help journal, it is not like your normal journal. You can go at your own pace. So you can start anywhere. You can use it at one time, then stop, then come back to it. You can reuse a prompt if you want to. It is not where you have to complete it in a certain amount of time frame or a certain amount of days. It is your own journal for you. So what's included in this journal, you must wonder. So with this journal, you have 30 writing prompts or over 30 writing prompts. With this also, you have different quotes that comes exactly from my own podcast. You have mindful thoughts area. You have journaling pages, prayer pages. And then you also have some activities that's with some of these prompts as well. You have a music playlist that was created by me at the end of the journal, and so much more that's in this journal. It is designed to support you in your current season that you may be in your current journey, but as well as those to come. So this journal could not happen without God, like not at all. So I praise God first for even trusting me with his vision to download so many things that can help just not me, but you all and so many other people. So with this, let's all just grow together. I'm in. Are you all in? If you're in, come on. So let me tell you how you can purchase this. You can pre-order if you're in the Metro Detroit area or surrounding areas. You can pre-order it and purchase it directly to me, and I can give it to you by dropping it off or meeting somewhere. Or you can also purchase it on Amazon. So I am on Amazon. All you have to do is type in Being in the Present and it will pop up for you all to purchase. So those are the two ways that you can purchase it. If you do have questions, comments, concerns, or anything, feel free to just reach out to me. Please, you all leave reviews and comments on my social media sites on Amazon so that I can know how is this journal helping you? What can I do better? Let's talk about it. Maybe you found something really, really inspirational in one of those journal prompts and I also found it inspirational, or we can start a little group all together and talk about it. So you all, please let me know how I can help you all with being able to grow with Being in the Present journal. So those are the two ways that you can purchase it. Please find all of the links below. They will be in my description for you all. And I truly, truly pray that this journal helps you, inspires you, motivates you, and just pushes you to go into your next phase of life that God has for you. So thank you all, Kia Biag Gang, for supporting me. I love you all, and stay tuned for the rest of the episode. Come to God. And so let's just get this out the way before I even start with fully talking about the topic. I am not perfect. I by no means is saying like, yeah, I do this every time something happens. I'm like, let me pray real quick. No, I have made mistakes in this time frame of me really seeing that this is a chapter where God is like, your prayer life had to take another notch up. And so with all of that though, yes, like at times something may happen, a situation may occur, or I just may be in a circumstance where I need to make a decision, or I'm just in a situation where it's like sometimes I don't take that deep breath to think about what I'm about to do or to go and pray to God first. Sometimes I just make a decision and move on it, and then after I make the decision, I decide like, oh, well, let me go talk to God about it, or let me pray about it, or let me see, was this what God wanted for me? So I'm just saying already that I am not perfect. And that is why I want to talk about it today, to just say like, hey, this is where I'm at, but this is how it has helped me. But I am also trying to do better. Like I am just trying to do better. So I wanted to actually talk about, I believe there was also another meme that I had. Let me see if it connects right now. Okay. Yes. So this is we're gonna tie everything back together. But this other meme says, the issue is many of us are going into prayer already with an answer and expect God's response to line up with what we've already made up in our mind. And if it doesn't, we dismiss what he says. So it's so funny because I had already written out my podcast episode and already like wrote out what I wanted to talk about. And so when I came across that meme, I was like, that's so crazy, because I also felt that way where I was like, yeah, sometimes I do go into my prayer and already have my mind set on what I want to decide on, what my decision is. And I just assume that, oh yeah, like God's going to be all right with it. Like he's going to be like, yeah, let's do this. When it's like, no, that's not what I have for you. So it connects to what I also wanted to talk about in this podcast too. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, but I wanted to get that out the way as well because I did not want to forget. But I want to start off with this Bible verse to kind of just start off with the conversation. So in James 4:8, it says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. So with all of it, I thought this was just a great Bible verse to add to what I wanted to discuss today, because as said, sometimes like we may decide on doing something and we don't even consider what God has for us. We don't even take into consideration what he has planned for us. And so with that, we just go and we do our own thing. And if we don't draw to God, how can he draw near to us? We're being dismissive. We're not thinking about him. That's just like with any other relationship or anything else in life. You can't just make a decision and assume someone else know what decision you made if you did not come and ask them, consider their thoughts, their opinions. What do they feel? How do they feel? So just in that nature, in that type of relationship is exactly how it is with God. Like, we can't just decide on something and then assume that God is just going to draw near to us and draw close to us just because we think that, oh, God know our thoughts already. Yes, he knows what we're already thinking. He knows every little detail. That doesn't matter. What matters is that we still took the time out to say, God, you are so loving and so caring. I want to be loving and caring, and I want to see what I am thinking. Does it approve of what you're approving? Does it align with what you have aligned for me already in life, or does it not? Because what can happen is that, rewind. So how this started with me even deciding to talk about this is that when I first started my journal, and I'm going to do a full like podcast episode about like my experience with my journal and writing it and what that was like and everything. But when I started writing my journal 2 years ago, when it first fell upon me in 2023, when God gave me that vision, I received the vision, and for a long time I knew that he had something planned for me, and I was very, very like nervous because I don't know anyone who has written a journal, a book, or nothing. I don't know what it takes. I don't know who to reach out to. There was a lot of things that I just did not know. And when you don't know anything and you're in a uncomfortable experience, or just in an uncomfortable area where you have to take this leap of faith, sometimes that is very, very, very nervous. And so when he did give it to me, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know, God. But then he kept pushing me like, this not even about you. It's about the people I want to reach within the journal that I want you to create. So I'm like, okay. And so I was like, okay, God. And when I started writing my journal, I'm not going to lie. When I started writing my journal, I was just like, it started flowing real easy. And so I'm like, okay, it's not as bad, because like with other things, sometimes like that just comes natural for me. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like this going exactly how I wanted it to go. Like really smooth. I'm not stressing or anything. And then I got to like about the middle of my journal, or a good length that I completed, and I had to start all back over again because I was assuming like, oh, because it was easy and because God had already gave me the vision, like that everything I'm writing is exactly what He wants. That's what I thought, and I'm like, okay, cool. But then God was like, no, that's not it. And I had realized that because I had took a break and I went back to start writing again, and nothing was flowing. It wasn't connecting no longer. It wasn't flowing the way that it was at the beginning. Nothing was working at all. It was, my brain was jumbled. Like I just couldn't figure out, okay, like what am I supposed to do? What type of journal is this supposed to be? Like how does it supposed to look? I just do, okay, I don't want it to be a normal journal. I don't want it to look just like every other thing. But I had no clue. And that's when God had convicted me of that. Like, you took the vision I had for you and you just ran with it, and you just thought that you could do it on your own. You just thought that, oh, you got these creative little ideas and you just thought that you could just do it by yourself. And that's not the case, because this journal is not for you in so many ways. Like it's not meant for you to do whatever you want. It's a bigger assignment for you within it. And so I had to really digest that, and it was like very hard because I think at times like I have trouble with trying to figure out, is it my thoughts, is it God thoughts, like what thoughts is going to my head. And so with that, I was like, okay, I have to be very intentional. And God has started convicting me of a lot of other things in my life during that time, and I thank God that He did that. But He had to convict me in so many areas so that I can have a clear mind on what He wanted to produce through me with this journal. And so I had to give up a lot of things. A lot of relationships changed. Just a lot of things had switched and maneuvered in my life during that time. And I'm thankful that He gave me that conviction before He started changing everything in my life, because when things started changing, I wasn't confused about why it was happening. Now, was it still hurtful? Did it still hurt me? Was it still difficult? Was it still challenging? Yes, it was all of those things. But I was able to understand the reasoning behind it, because He had already convicted me that in order for you to hear clearly from me, because you have a hard time deciphering what you're hearing, who you're hearing, who is it. I'm going to take away the things that may cloud your mind, that may cloud your brain, and cloud what I have for you. So He had to remove a lot of things and change things up for me in order to give me that peace, in order to give me that clear mind to be able to do that. So with that being said, back to the topic, is that I had to pray every time I started working on my journal, every time I completed the journal part for that day and I reopened it again, every time I had a meeting with the publishing company, before I even found a publishing company, every move I made, I spoke to God about it. And I just kept telling God, I just want you to hear my heart. I want you to know that I understand that this is not for me, that this has nothing to do with me, that is exactly what you want. And I am just a vessel for you. And so I had to keep reminding myself that, but I had to be so humble. It was a very humbling experience. Like I had to be so humble with praying, because I had to continue to remind myself that I can't do this without God. I just literally can't do this without God. And not to say like everything just flowed all perfectly within the process. It was still like bumps in the road and stuff, but overall it was a very smooth process. Like what I thought was going to be the most challenging or like difficult and hardest thing to do in life was very smooth. And I know that because I know that it was truly God who helped me through it. Like every time I finished, I prayed like, God, whatever I wrote, whatever I just created, if it wasn't from you, please remove it. Please give me that notion to know, like, that's not what I had in mind for you. So it brings me to tears, or it brings me a little emotional when people say like, this was very thoughtful, or I can see the work behind it, or I can see how you really took your time. And it's like, yeah, but also it wasn't me, it was God. Like, the reason you can see it being so thought out and very particular is because God gave me that vision. When you can see that it was Will taking time and I thoughtful within every page, every word, every design, every prompt title, from the music, the way I prayed over it to say, God, give me the right songs to produce, to bring into this playlist that can be a safe space for people when they're working on their journal, or when they just in their prayer time or devotional time or Bible time. Like, everything was thought out. And so I realized, like, dang, I can't just do this with just my journal. Like, this has to now overflow into everything else I do in life. Like, I have to pray. And I can, y'all, when I say, like, I can literally tell when I made a decision and I did not take into consideration what God said. I be falling on my face sometimes, or like, it's just so confusing. Like, the process would just be so confusing. And I'd be like, that's because I didn't ask God. Like, that's not what He had for me. And so also with that, I wanted to talk about something else with it. Sometimes, like, I think that sometimes people may think like, oh, how do I say this? Like, you're so overly God. And it can look that way, but I'm gonna tell you now, like, there's no shame in my game. I'm gonna say God did it for everything, because that's the real truth. And you cannot do life without God. And so I'm gonna continue to say it, I'm gonna continue to repeat it, because it's real. It's so real. All right. Before we continue our conversation, make sure to follow me on all of my personal social media accounts to stay updated on what I am doing. You can follow me on Instagram at _KiaZ, _KIAAZ. You can follow me on Facebook at Kia Brewer. You can follow me on Snapchat at FabulousKia_4, or you can follow me on TikTok as Zakia Brewer. But make sure that you follow our podcast page as well on Instagram as Zakia Chanel Podcast. Okay, so where do we leave off at? But I say that because God had gave me that during that time. It was like, you've been playing around a little bit, and now it's time to take me serious. It's time for you to truly say yes to me and live out what I have for you. And so, like I said, it's not easy. It be hard. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm human. And, I just get up again. I try again. I work to be better than I was the day before. And I wanted to read this Bible verse of Philippians 4:6-7 that says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and mind through Christ Jesus." And this Bible verse, like this scripture, it just fell upon me, and that's when I knew, like, this episode was meant for me, but meant for someone else out there, because the way God was like throwing these these Bible verses at me, I was like, oh dang, like, okay, oh yeah, like, all right, God, I see you. But this Bible verse is because for me, like, sometimes I may be anxious or worried or not even worried, just overly thoughtful of everything. Every move I make, every thought that I think somebody may be thinking. Sometimes I'm just overly thinking a lot, and it um it makes it hard for me to then rely on God because I just don't know how to let that go, like how to release that overthinking sometimes. And so this Bible verse always remind me like that don't be anxious for nothing. Like everything in life, like do not be anxious, because if you go to God with prayer and thanksgiving and put in your request, he make it simple. He just says like, even though God knows everything that we need, everything that's on our mind, everything that we're going to pray for before we pray for it, he just wants us to make our request known. And he says like to make it simple. You don't have to have a full um you don't have to say all these fancy words in your prayer. You don't have to make it a 2, 3, 4, 5 minute prayer. Like sometimes we watch how other people pray and it could be good for us, but also it can be bad because sometimes we may compare ourselves to how other people pray. And I know that was a big thing for me, especially when I first started like really, really, truly get into like my prayer life and was really like trying to figure it out. I would compare myself to a lot of people and I'd be like, dang, my prayer went that longer. Oh, well, I didn't say that word. And it was like, God isn't entertained by all of that, because it may be the most sanctified Christian who may be praying and saying all these different words and fancy words and scriptures and this and that, but they not even, after they finish praying, they're not even taking it into their own life. They're not walking it out themselves. They just did this beautiful prayer for basically absolutely nothing. And you think God will be pleased by that? Like, thank you for praying, but like, you're not doing nothing with it. So you just did all of this for nothing. And that goes for him saying like, all I want you to do is just make your request known. Let me know, pray, and be simple, because God knows our heart. He feels our heart. He knows how authentic we are. And if we're authentic, real, vulnerable, honest with God, that's all he wants from us. And so all you got to do is just talk to God. That's really what praying is. Just talk to God and truly like tell him like if something's hard, or if it's challenging, or if you decide to do X, Y, and Z, why it makes you nervous. Why are you afraid of that decision, of that outcome of that decision? So I think that that's like one of the biggest things for me that I had to like really maneuver and figure out for myself and everything. And know that God, at the end, it says like, like God will guard your heart. And that's the thing, because sometimes, like, let's be real, we make decisions because we're in protective mode. Like, we want to protect our heart. At the end of the day, we're protecting ourselves because we don't want to be hurt. So when somebody does something to us and we decide, like, for instance, somebody texts us something crazy or call us and it's something crazy, you want to pop off, or you want to match the same energy they have, or, you want to stoop to their level. Because what you're basically doing is you're trying to protect yourself from getting hurt more or being hurt, or you want to protect your heart because you don't want to be hurt any longer. Whatever it is that at the end of the day, you're protecting yourself. But if we be like, if somebody pop off or somebody going crazy talking to us out the side of their neck, other than just responding right away, all right, let me just, before I even respond, hey, let me call you back. Or, you know what, let me not even respond to that message right now. Because what I don't want is to meet the same energy because I'm trying to protect myself. What I want to do is I want to go to God and ask God, hey, how should I resolve this? How should I go about this situation? Because God, honestly, I want to pop off because the person is hurting me already and I don't want to get hurt no more. So I need to be defensive, or I need to protect myself. But God, hey, I know at the end of the day that you are the one who can truly protect me. So can you protect me in this? Can you give me discernment and wisdom on how to move forward with that? Like, those are the things that you can talk to God about, because at the end of the day, he's going to guard your heart. But if you go about it and you don't bring him into the situation, then you can't be mad at the outcome of what happened in the situation. You can't be mad that in the outcome you're like, oh dang God, like where was you at? Oh God, you ain't helped me in that. He wasn't there when X, Y, and Z. Well, he wasn't there because you didn't give him any room. You didn't open up the door for him. He was at the door waiting for you. But you decided to look out through the blinds and you saw him and you was like, I'll wait. I'll wait to open up the door for God. Like, so you can't expect for him to guard your heart and protect you, or to be able to give you the knowledge and the wisdom that you need with a decision if you never open up that door for him. So that's one of the things that I would say, like, that, you know, to just kind of like work on or be better at, or understanding like why it is so important to pray before you make a decision, before you make a move, because it truly determines what happens next after that. And then also, but also with that, sometimes like we think also with it. So one part is that, yes, so you ain't pray. You thought God was going to come back. You thought God was going to just show up how you wanted him to show up. And he ain't show up because you ain't allow him to show up. But then the other part is that we could be praying. And then we wait for God. We wait. We wait. We wait some more. And we like, okay, we don't hear God. So I'm gonna go ahead and decide. Or I think God is telling me this. So yeah, I'm gonna do this because I think that's what he would tell me to do. Or I think that's what, you know, he would be okay or cool with me doing. But it's like that hurts as much as you deciding to make your decision on your own without him being in the decision making. It's the same thing. So even if you bring God to the decision and you pray to God, but then you go ahead and you make your decision without even talking to him about it, or even like, or not talking to him about it because you did talk to him about it, but going about making that decision without even hearing the answer from him clearly, then you're still going to end up with the same outcome, because you did the first part right, you prayed, but then the second part you just kind of decided, oh, since I didn't hear God's answer right now, then I'm gonna go ahead and just do what I gotta do because I need to make this decision, or I need to go ahead and do this because it's making me anxious or it's eating me up inside. So I would think that is the second thing. And I think that is also difficult because sometimes, like, for real, I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, okay, like, God, I ain't hear from you yet. I ain't hear. Just like a decision I have to make pretty soon. I've been talking to God about it. I've been praying, and I'm like, okay, one day I may hear him say one thing, then another day I'd be like, okay, or was it this, God? Like, I don't know. Both decisions sound pretty good, you know, like each one has its own benefit of how I can connect it back to God. But like, God, which one do you see fit for me to do? Like, because I don't want to miss out on a blessing because I decided to make my own decision up. But then also, I don't want to miss my lesson as well. There can be a blessing or a lesson. So I don't want to miss either one because I decided to do my own thing, and then I get hit with a challenge of a lesson because I decided that I wanted to do my own thing. So I'm in a situation right now, y'all. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm waiting, and I have to be strong enough, and I have to have faith in God enough and strength enough to know that he's going to give me my answer when the time is needed. Until then, chill out. Don't be anxious about it. Like, you've already made your request. You already laid it out to God. Let him give you your answer. Let him do what he does best. And you just sit and wait. So I am in that process right now. But then I think the third thing of why it's important to pray before you make a move or make a decision is because sometimes we may pray to God and He gives us an answer and it wasn't the answer that we wanted. So then we decide to still go do our own thing because that's not what we wanted. And it's like, you're still going to end up in the same situation at the end of the day because you still decided to do your own thing. You let your flesh win. That's what happened. And so, and that's hard because if you asking God for something and He says no, not right now, or no, or that ain't for you, and you really, really want it bad, or you're like, well, there's no wrong in it, so why not, God? Because He says so. But if we're like, well, there's no harm in it, God, like, I don't know why you say no, but it ain't no harm in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this because it's what I want to do. It's not gonna hurt nobody. And I think that it's good at the end of the day. So I'm going to do me. And that can be, just as detrimental as any of the other options. So the only option that works is you actually praying before every decision, before every move that you make, and actually waiting for God to give you an answer to it. Because if we don't pray and we make our own decision, we're going to end bad. If we do pray and then God is taking too long, what we may think, and we decide to do our own thing, that also can end bad. And then if we prayed and He gave us an answer, but it ain't the answer that we wanted, we also end up bad. So each one got its own thing, but the only one that works the right way is praying, waiting, hearing from God, and then being okay with the outcome or with the decision, the answer that He gave you, and knowing that it's going to be for some good. And it may not feel good right now. It may not be what you want at the time, but I think what helps me is also knowing that that's just because He has something better that's in store for me. And also He has a blessing for me that is a not right now thing. It is a in the future thing. And the crazy thing also, y'all, is that after I wrote this podcast, I was shout out to my mom. But I did the podcast, everything, and I was deciding not to go to church because I wanted to take care of some other things. And so I was like, I'm just not going to go to church this week. I'm just not going to go to church. Like, I'm just not going to go. I already reached out to my media team, let them know, and, figuring out how they can get, how everything can work out. And my mom, like, that night was like, just go to church. Just go to church, Kia. Like, just go to church. And I'm like, but Mom, I literally just told you this, that, this, and that. And you tell, I don't have enough time. Like, I just can't do everything. She's like, just go to church. I was just like, okay. And I had told my sister, like, yeah, I'm going to church because Mama told me to go to church. Like, just doing it, right? I get to church and our pastor has sent us the thing, and the sermon title for this week, y'all. Let me see if I can find it. Was God. Oh, Jesus. Okay, sorry, y'all. Like, God just be talking to me. But it was, how many no's did you experience before you got a yes? How many no's did you experience before you got your yes? And so within that, though, he was just talking about sometimes what happens is that God has, like, for me within my journal, like, God has ordained us already to do this thing, which is, for my instance, He provided me that vision for my journal. And so we think, okay, cool, since He ordained us, it's okay to go about all the other actions because He already opened up that door for us. And so that's how as I said before, how it was with me and my journal. He opened up that vision for me. I thought like, okay, cool. I can go ahead and do all the next steps with it. And he was like, started talking back about David and Saul and how, David, he already ordained David that you were going to be this leader. You're going to be the one. But it's not your time yet. I ordained you. It's in your heart. You know what is going to come, but it's not your time yet. Right now, you are here for Saul. No, it's not pleasing of what it looks like. Yes, it is challenges. Yes, it is difficult. David has to go through so much things. And he's like, well, why I got to go through all of this when God, you already like ordained me for it. But God was like, no. And it's so big because like if David did not go through those different scenarios, then he would not have been able to produce what God needed him to produce at that time. And that is the same thing with us, with me, with everyone. Like God may have ordained you for that thing. You may already be in the spot, in the area that you want. You know that this is where you're supposed to be because God gave you that confirmation. But what messes us up is that we decide to take that and run with it. And that's not what God wants from us. He wants us to continue to seek after him. Go after and pray to God. What's that song? I sought the Lord, he heard and he answered. I sought the Lord and he heard and he answered. That's why I trust in God. Or something. Yeah. But my Savior. Okay, I'm not a singer. But yes, like you have to seek God out in everything. So even after you get that vision, after God has already gave you that confirmation, you still have to go back and say, God, hey, am I good to go to the next step? Hey God, is this still what you want for me? Hey God, do I need to change something up? Maybe change, maneuver? Hey God, do I need to walk away? Do I need to maybe hand it to somebody else? There are so many things that is the reason why you have to still consistently go to God in prayer before you make your next move in life. And that is the most important thing because he can trust you with the vision and he can say, hey, this is for you. But if you do not go about it the way that God has for you to go about it, he will find somebody else to do it the way that he wanted. And you're going to end up going in a circle, in a loop, wondering, why am I not going to the next phase? God, why is nothing else happening? It's because you decided to move to your own beat and not to the beat of God. So you have to move to the beat of God. Because if you do not, you're going to end up in a circle. You're going to end up in a challenge that you did not want. You're going to end up having more of a difficult time trying to overcome an obstacle that God really didn't even want you to have to go through. He probably was like, I don't want you even to go through this obstacle. But you decided that since you want to do your own thing, then you're going to go through this obstacle because this is the best way I can teach you to not do it again. And so I found the title of my podcast episode. So I wanted to write it down. Bro. But yes, so I would just say to round things up is that those were the things that that came to my heart that I just feel like, would be a blessing for somebody. I honestly did not know how this episode was going to go. Yes, I know this probably was all over the place because my brain was like, boop, 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 boop. And it was so much I wanted to just let out, and it was all clouded and jumbled up all together. But hopefully you all got something from it. Hopefully it made sense. I'm gonna just say this, and it can also be my run and tell that.
Run and tell that, run and tell that, run and tell that, on board.
Is that seek after God for every decision and be prayerful for every decision. Be patient, be humble, be vulnerable, have strength, trust in God, because you're going to need all of those things. You have to be vulnerable enough to be able to open up to God, to be honest with Him about what you're praying for, with whatever decision, with whatever is going on in life, with whatever decision or move you have to make. You have to trust God, because if you don't trust Him, then your prayer lies on nothing. And then you have to have strength, because after you pray, God may not give you your answer right away. So you have to have strength and know that you can continue and wait for God to give you your answer before you actually make your decision or make your move. And then also you have to be humble enough to know that you can't do it without God. Even when you think that just because He gave you that vision, just because He gave you the idea, the clue that you needed, don't think you can just do it without God. You can't. You will get stuck. You will have to repeat. You will maybe have to go in a loop until you learn your lesson. So in order to try to avoid it as best as possible, have some strength. Be humble enough to know that you have to continue to go after God even after you got that vision, and seek Him for it. So that is my run and tell that. I hope that this was able to bless somebody, that was able to connect with someone on this. Let me know how it may be challenging for you. Are you having a hard time just praying right now? Are you having a hard time with the waiting part after you pray to hear the answer? Are you having a hard time with receiving not the answer that you wanted and having to still be obedient enough to say, okay, God, this is the answer that I did not want. Help me to continue to not try to make my own decision or try to put my own idea back into the flow of things. So let me know what stage are you at right now? What's the hold up? What's the difficulty? For me, like I said, it's more of the waiting part to hear from God. And then also it is the part of maybe not getting the answer that I wanted and having to be okay with that. So I love you all. Thank you all so much for joining me again for another episode. Please share it, comment, leave some reviews, let people know about the Kia Biag Gang and the way that they can join. I love you all, and stay tuned. I have some videos that's coming out. I have more podcast episodes. It's going to be a mixture of it all. So stay tuned, and I will see you all in my next episode. Love you all.